spend a couple days in Rome and its suburb, the Pigneto neighborhood, before heading out on the rest of my summer trip to Luxembourg, France, and Scotland. Rome is a great option if you have a layover, and I didn't do too much, but I definitely made the most of the couple days I had and would love to bring you along. Good morning from Rome. I am so glad to have made it. This is the second day. I arrived yesterday morning and went straight to meet my parents and go explore. So today I'm getting ready this morning and I'll just share a bit about what we did. So I'm not drinking spritz. This is like cold medicine that you can take that's like fizzing tablets, and not that I have a cold, but my nose is like slightly runny from I think just the dry air and traveling, and so I always bring these and vitamin C like powder and electrolytes. And so I'm gonna have this morning and get ready, put on my makeup and share what we did and what is a great way to spend the day in Rome. I definitely recommend you to use ChatGPT to help plan your day if you struggle with like figuring out the trains, the metros, and airport transfer, all that stuff. It was really helpful. But yeah, so I met my parents in the Pantheon area. We walked to Piazza Navarro, which is really pretty. Had like a couple fountains, and I highly recommend you do this. We walked to Villa Borghese Park and did a boat kind of experience. So basically the park is kind of far, but we did walk, and I think it's just a good way of seeing the city too, because we walked by like the Spanish Steps and took some pictures there. We also, I really loved this church called St. Ignazio, and it probably had the most beautiful ceiling paintings, and there was like one area where it looked like it was a dome, but it was really just painted that way, like 3D, but it was really 2D. And that's the picture where you can get like the Instagram photo of, what is it? A mirror like pointing to the ceiling, and then you pay €1 and then it like lights it up. And there was a huge line. I was interested in doing that, but it's just a line. Yeah, so the Villa Borghese, there's a park and then there's a lake, and you can rent a boat for like €5 and you paddle it around. So I did that with my parents, and it was just like so much quieter, so peaceful. Just, yeah, so pretty. So I really recommend that. And it's just like, I don't know, we all felt that it was like cooler up there in the park than into the city. It's been so hot. So I think that was like everyone's favorite of the day. And then we walked to the Trastevere neighborhood for dinner. And I had a couple of spots in mind that I had just seen as recommended. I think one is called Taverna Trelusa, and then the other is Tonarello, and they have a few different locations, just like both traditional like Roman Italian food. And Trelusa, you needed a reservation and they were full for the night, and then there's a huge line for Tonarello. So we went to this place like randomly next door to Tonarello, and it was really nice. It was for people, well, they had staff that was partly like special needs, and it was just like a spot where people like who have special needs are welcome, and we all just like loved that community kind of initiative. And it was called, I think, Trattoria degli Ami, like of friends, and they were so sweet, like the waiters. And I got what I wanted, which is seafood pasta with truffle. Like I just came here wanting that. So this was some of our walk to the Trastevere neighborhood, and I find that it's actually really nice to walk in Rome. We did the tram sometimes to the Pigneto neighborhood, but I actually really prefer walking because you just stumble upon these beautiful spaces, and we even saw this fashion show set up in the garden or on the way out from the garden. And we walked by some of the Jewish quarter as well here. So, yeah, I just love walking around Rome and finding these little treasures. There's also like a lot less people, which is really weird because when I went in November of 2011, there were so many crowds. Like I was looking at my pictures, and yeah, maybe I don't know. I'm not comfortable traveling when it's like this hot. It's very hot. And so the other thing is today we were gonna go back into Rome and go to the Colosseum because we didn't do that yesterday and get pictures. And we have a flight to Luxembourg this afternoon and going to visit my family there, and I will definitely be taking you along. And it's at 3, but we're talking and we're like, it's gonna be such a like rush to try and go into Rome, which is a half hour away, see what we want to see, come back to this neighborhood, Pigneto, get our bags, and then go to the airport, which is it's definitely far outside of Rome, like at least an hour drive. And so we're gonna just have a slow morning in the neighborhood, go to a cafe, walk around, and then just leave from here. And I think that is doing at least my future self a favor because I'm doing a lot of traveling this trip. I'm going, as I mentioned, to Luxembourg after this for 2 days. Then I'm flying to Scotland the morning of Tuesday. And it's kind of a thing where I'm going to Paris first, which is like an hour train. And then it's just like a lot to do. And I'm really thankful to not be packing in things because I can do that sometimes. I'm like, I want to just see everything. So I recommend like just seeing what you want to see. And I've already actually been to the Colosseum, so I don't feel like, okay, I really want to. So it all depends, but just don't overdo the planning because it gets to be a lot when you're traveling to a lot of places. So I feel really good about that decision. It is Sunday, so not a lot of like clothes stores or like retail stores I would say are open, but like cafes are. So there was a really cute bookshop I wanted to go to in this neighborhood that's and lots of things are also closed on Monday, so I saw that they didn't open till Tuesday. So but it's all good. A lot of tourist places are still gonna be open. And yeah, I'm excited to come back to Italy. I will take you on that part of the trip because we're flying out of here. So we're gonna fly into the Florence airport. I'm gonna spend a night and day in Florence and meet my parents in Lucca and spend 2 nights there. Before we have one night in Rome by the airport, this kind of cool hotel that has like a pool and yeah, so we'll do that on like the last leg of the trip. But I just love Italy, and the Italians are just I was pretty frustrated when I got here because they like are not in a rush. They don't they're not on like the most of, I don't know, in the US like timetable, just like okay, like we have to get from point A to point B in like the fastest amount possible. Like they're not rushing, and I realized I'm like I kind of need that I think, because that's like a default setting for me. And as a reflector in human design, like I will really reflect and mirror the environment around me. So when I'm living in the States, sometimes even in the South, I have learned to slow down because people are just on a different timetable. And but here it's like a whole other level. Quick break here to show you my Airbnb. I thought it was perfect for 2 days, and it's in Pigneto neighborhood in Rome, right next to the metro station, which was closed while I was here. But anyways, I love this little kitchen, and there's AC in the bedroom, which I think is just crucial for any Airbnb in Italy during the summer. You gotta make sure it has the AC. And I found that there's a lot of space here. This is the bathroom that, for one person or even two people, this would be perfect. I will say when I studied here, I think I was like the happiest I have ever been. It's just like somewhere that, if you're familiar with astrocartography and places in the world that like light up different parts of you, I have to actually check what my line is through Italy, but I know from like a chakra perspective, it's like a heart opening place. And for me, it definitely was that. I just have a very special relationship with Italy, and when I visit, I'm like reminded of that part of myself. Um, so yeah, I will take you along today when we explore the Pigneto neighborhood, and I really wanted to get tiramisu while I'm here. And there are a couple places in Rome. One is called Mr. 100, and they have 100 flavors of tiramisu, which I was really wanting to go to. But next time. And then there's one called Two Sizes that's supposed to be the best. But there's some spots in our neighborhood that have like really good reviews. So as long as I get tiramisu, I feel really okay with that. And the other thing is, as some of you might know, I eat mostly vegan and sometimes fish. And I remember like getting so worried because when I lived here, I wasn't vegan. So I just like ate whatever. And I was like trying to find all these vegan restaurants, which they have. And it was so funny. It was like such a synchronicity. I watched a video on YouTube. I'll have to find what it is, but she was just talking about like how she's in Italy and she doesn't care like that she's eating a lot and that it's not what she normally eats. And she's like, I think I'm just literally here to enjoy it. And I was like, oh my gosh, and it was like something I didn't mean to click on. I was trying to watch vegan in Rome videos, and I really took that as like a sign that I should just not worry, and that it's like okay to enjoy food, and it's not like this is what I normally eat. So it's felt very freeing to just be like, this is what I want and I don't care. And yeah, so I will take you along. I'm gonna just get ready here. It's been so hot, so I really recommend bringing this kind of fan. My mom has these, and you just walk around and like do this because it's been so hot. And I definitely will want to like shower again when I like before we get on the plane, because it's sweltering and you just start sweating just from like not doing anything. I kind of forgot what that is. And you always want to get a water bottle and carry it around with you and fill it up, as like they have free little stations everywhere, and you just like constantly have to be drinking water and like dumping water on yourself to stay cool. So that is my other pro tip. All right, let's get ready for the day. This is what I am wearing. What you have here? These like white linen shorts, and then this yellow linen top. I just recommend wearing linen here. It's very breathable, and it's just so hot that this is like the best fabric. When I got here from the airport, I just had like a thicker cotton top and pants that were like kind of wool. It was bad. So yeah, I recommend wearing linen. Then we picked up some snacks for our road trip, and I don't know about you, but I love grocery stores abroad. Especially in Italy, they seem to have a lot of mocktail options, and yeah, I just loved it. I'd never seen any of these, so I decided to try one Chino Zero, it's called, and the other is Cocktail Zero, and they're both by San Pellegrino. And I was thinking this Chino was like a Coca-Cola kind of type drink, and it's not. It's like more of like a bitter, and then it has like lemon, and it was so refreshing that when it was very hot, I think this was like so good as like if you don't drink, which I don't. And then this Cocktail Zero is almost supposed to be like Aperol Spritz, like that's what I get. And I just wish we had this in the US because it's really good, and it's not too sweet, it's just like a bitter. And because these were zero, they both didn't have any sugar. We stopped in this little tiny town of Talamone on the drive to Rome Fiumicino Airport. It was a halfway stop, and it was just so charming, right on the water. And there wasn't a lot going on, just some restaurants. So, really, just a place to stop for about an hour or so, which is what we were planning to do. But one thing, it was very hot because of just being on the water and in the south, but it was very quiet and peaceful. So It was just a beautiful place to walk around, stretch our legs a bit, and we just had the most delicious lunch right on the water. Couldn't have asked for a better spot. It was at Bar La Proto, and this is a place where they did not speak English at all. So it's definitely not like a touristy spot, but we really liked that about it. And the pasta I had with seafood was so delicious and fresh. Just a couple hours later, we made it to Rome Fiumicino, which is also a really interesting place. It was a main street with a lot of restaurants right on the water and a lot of locals too. And it was very lively. There was like live music, and we stayed at this hotel Tiber, which is supposed to be 4 stars. I think it was perfect for one night. Wouldn't stay longer.